Welcome everybody to our online workshop for October of 2025. Yay! I'm so excited that you're here for our Ornamental Christmas online workshop. So it's about 11:36 here in the morning Eastern time. Um, and I love that we have amazing crafters tuning in from all over. It's so fun to be able to connect and create together no matter where we are, right? This is the one thing I like about tech, right? So today, if you're new to this, today what we're going to do, it's all about sharing our love and joy of paper crafting. We're going to relax, we're going to have some fun. And yes, science has proven that when you craft, you release natural endorphins, which are good for you, right? And we get to share and spread that joy with others just by sending our cards. And I love that. So today we're going to create 3 fast and fabulous cards that are actually inspired by sketches in our mini catalog. So let me pull out the mini catalog if I can find it in my drawer here. This one here. And so Stampin' Up! The last few publications has been putting sketches in our catalogs. And I love that, right? Who doesn't want a little extra inspiration? Should I have bookmarked the page that they're on before I started this? Why, I should have, but I did not, right? So you can see there's some sketches right here on the bottom of page 14. I so wish they would publish publish those as a separate resource, but they don't. So anyway, so if you're new to me, I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for about 23 years, full-time since November of 2019, which is not typical. Very few people do this full-time. I am married to a wonderful and very supportive husband who puts up with my stuff everywhere. And I have 2 amazing grown children and 2 of the most adorable granddaughters ever, right? They're both sassy and sweet at the same time. 8 and 4. No, Arlie would kill me. 9 and 4. Arlie just turned 9. I cannot believe she's 9. Anyway, I do love what I do, especially when I get to share it with all of you. So, here's how I serve my crafting community. I do everything from online events, like online bingos. I have card clubs. I do some private parties, some in-person gatherings. When I do host in person, I bring all the supplies and teach the techniques, and whoever is my host keeps all my samples that I make that at that event. It's fun, it's simple. We're just about gathering and having a good time. When we're doing a virtual like today, I love that we can still connect and create together, right? So no real host gathering us today. We're just gathering together, right? So you're going to find links posted for the supply list for today's projects. If you've got a catalog or an online store open nearby with sticky notes, maybe a notepad in case you want to jot some things that catch your eye down, that's fine. I do have a few things I want to mention to you guys. October is a crazy busy month for me, for demonstrators in general, but I've got a few extras going on. So I want to make sure, and you'll see posts in the coming days about this, but I wanted to make sure to let you guys know up front. If you're not already on my email list, join my email list, right? It's the best place to be. I do gift out a tutorial bundle every single month that's exclusive to my email list. But last night I started my 12 weeks of holidays project series. So it's 12 festive project duos. So you're going to get a card and a not a card project around a product suite. And so it's 12 weeks of that. If you miss the first one, don't stress out. I'm not going to tell you why, but don't stress out. You'll get all of them eventually. All right. So if you're not on my email list, do that so that you don't miss them. They're going to come out every Thursday over 12 weeks through Christmas, right? I also have registration going on for the free ticket for the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. So I've done this a few times now. They invited me back. I'm so glad to be back. And it's actually happening next week in 1 week. So October 17th, 18th, and 19th. The free ticket gets you 24 access to all the content. And there are some great crafters that have come together to bring this event to you. So it should be a really good time. I actually signed up to do one of the Q&A sessions this time. I have no idea what I've gotten myself into. Yikes. So we'll see how that goes. So you guys have to come and support me, right? So I'm not scared. There is a upgraded ticket that you can see as well that gets you lots and lots of great things. Definitely worth the money if it fits your budget and you want lifetime access. And you can see behind me, this side. That is a bonus class that I put together as a freebie for the paid ticket subscribers. So anyway, putting that together. Also want you to know about cultivated creativity. And do I have those samples? I don't have them handy. Cultivated Creativity is on a wait list. I am sold out. However, I am getting ready to open up an additional 10 spots. So if you are not on the wait list already, get on the wait list there so that you don't miss the projects. We are using the traditional labels bundle this month, and the projects are gorgeous and they're fast and easy, right? Like, yes, there's some technique in them, so they're not boring, but they are going to be fantastic, and they are cards that you can make stacks of if you need to. And then the last thing I want to make sure you're aware of is there is an amazing starter kit special. Yes, it is. I've never seen anything like it that Stampin' Up! Has done. There's actually two options. You can get the traditional $99 starter kit with $125 in product for $35. Crazy, right? Or you can pay the $99 and choose $189 in product instead. So those are the big things I wanted to make sure to point out to you. We do also have a special for this event. So I've got an ordering special. I do this typically each time. I've extended the ordering day to Tuesday instead of Monday. So it will go through Tuesday, October 14th. When you place US customers, when you place a $35 order with me, you're going to get, of course, a hand stamped card as my thank you. And then you'll also get the PDF tutorial for today's projects that we're going to make. I'm going to tell you everything, so you don't really need it. But if you want it, that's how you get it, right? If you spend $50 or greater, you're also going to get the cut kit, which I have one. My little cut kit here, already ready to go out in the mail, because some of you have already placed your orders, and I thank you for that. I very much appreciate your support of my wonderful small business here. So I do want to let you know that ornamental Christmas die cuts won't be done for you, but you're going to have the paper to be able to cut them yourselves. That way, if you want to use some other product, you'll have the cardstock, but you won't be stuck with those shapes, right? You're also going to get the October Gathering Together All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle, which is a $15 value, as my gift, right? Of course, you could purchase that separately, but why when you can get it free, right? And then don't forget, there's no host codes anymore. So once your order hits $20 or greater, you're going to automatically receive 10% back in Stampin' Rewards. Yay! I love it. I love it. Now, I don't forget my international friends. I love you all as well. Since you can't buy product from me, you can purchase tutorials from me. So I do have a tutorial store, and if you spend $35 in my tutorial store, I will send you the PDF for today's workshop. If you spend 50 or greater, you're also going to get the All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle as my gift, okay? All right, I think that's it. If you guys place orders and want a catalog, a hard copy of the catalog, let me know and I'm happy to send you one as well. All right, are you guys ready to switch the camera over and start our paper crafting fun? I am. All right, let's do it. Let me switch things over. Da 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 da. Where is it? There it is. All right. Uh-oh. Are we not going to have behaving? Let's see. There we go. That's a little bit better. I can adjust as need be, but I think that'll be good. I hope you guys can see and hear me. I am going to turn on a mic as well, because I want to make sure that you can hear me, okay? Because I'm flipping around. I'm changing my orientation. All right. Hopefully I'm mic'd up and hopefully you can hear me now. Um, and hopefully there's no echo. Since I'm not on the stream, I can't tell if you guys can hear me or not, right? Oh, good, you love my cards. Oh, thanks, Dawn. I love that. So glad you guys are here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's get started. So as I mentioned, we are using the Ornamental Christmas stamp set and coordinating dies. These are in our online exclusives. So you will not see these in our store, right? In our online store. You're going to see these. Wait, I said that backwards. You are going to see these in the online store. You're not going to see them in our hard catalog printed catalogs. Oh, good. You guys can hear me fine. No echo. Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Great. Great, great, great. All right. So this is what we're using today. Again, you can find this in the online store. You cannot find this in our hard printed catalogs. Okay, I said it right this time. So let me show you the three projects we're going to make today. And I do have an alternate set as well. So we are inspired today by the sketches in the catalog. So these are the projects we're going to make. So this first one was inspired by this sketch. Okay. The second one here, and I'm not going in the order of the tutorial. So if you already got the tutorial from me, I'm not going in the order. This is the second one. And then the third, I got them all in my cheat sheet area. And then this is the third one here. So I take liberties with sketches. We'll talk about it as we go. Let me move these out of the way and let's get started on our first one. So this one I did sorta take it as literal when I say literal, a little more as the sketch. I changed up a little, right? Like this is offset, I centered, I have a bigger element. It doesn't have to be a circle. My layers are different widths. You can add layers, you can take layers away. I mean, you have the choice to do what you want to do, which I think is part of the beauty of it, right? So a sketch is great to give you a kicking off point or a starting point so that it really kind of helps your creative mojo getting back in track, right? So if you're ever stuck, sketches are a great way to get unstuck in my mind, right? I'm not saying it well, but hopefully you got what I mean, right? All right, let's see. I'm going to pull up my tutorial so I have the cheat sheet because, of course, I left it on the other side of the room and I want to be able to give you guys measurements as I go. All right, so let's jump in with this first one here. I got a box set to the side, so hopefully I have everything I need and I don't have to run all over the place. So let's start off with our card base. So we have got a 4¼ by 11 piece of basic black cardstock. Okay. And I'm just going to fold it in half and I'm going to run my bone folder along it and give that a nice crisp edge. Now you guys know you can cut your cardstock in either direction in half, right? So this would have had two pieces this way, right? So I cut it in half this way. You could cut it in half this way and have your fold be on this edge if you prefer. It's entirely up to you, right? Okay, makes sense? I hope so. Next, I've got two pieces of basic white, and these measure, let me look at my cheat sheet, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, we're going to use one piece on the inside and one piece for layering on the outside. This piece here is 3 3/4 by 5. So I cut this right out of my designer series paper. We're going to cut this down, and I will tell you, I cut it a skinny 3 3/4 by 5. Robin, no. So I have my notes written down, but I don't give you guys the measurements. That's a perk for the written measurements. That's a perk for those that place an order. So I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, but if you want the PDF tutorial that has the measurements and the instructions, then you've got to take advantage of the order special. All right, perfect. So we're going to cut this in just a minute. I'm just letting you know what our supplies are, partially to make sure I'm not missing something, right? Then I've got a white circle that I used the dies to cut out, right? So in your package, you're going to have a piece of white cardstock, okay? Then I also have my ornament topper, also cut out of a scrap of gold foil. And I've got a gold star. Let me see if I can get my hands on it. My fingernails are out of control. They're too long. I haven't had my polish replaced in a while, and they're just, I don't know. I need to stop and take the time and go have the polish removed and redone. But I've got a small star here, also out of a scrap of gold foil. So that's our main component parts. We are going to bring in some embellishment here, but let's go ahead and get started on this. So I'm going to do my inside first, and then we'll focus on the outside. So the inside I kept simple. I just stamped Merry Christmas. So I'm going to bring in my Merry Christmas stamp, and hopefully I have my Memento Black. I do. So I kept this super simple. So you can make a lot of these if you wanted to. You just couldn't get in until now. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, Debbie. Yeah, we're just getting started. Okay. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment towards the top center-ish, right? Like it might not be perfect, but that's okay. Now, if you want to bring the design to the inside, you could stamp one of the lovely images that are in this stamp set, or you could choose to add a little bit of designer series paper to it and go that route as well. Either one is fabulous, right? Let's move that out of our way. Let's go ahead and adhere this to our card inside. Now, I will tell you, these cards were part of what I designed for my Diemonds team make and take. So each and every month, we do a full class. Those that choose to participate are welcome to. It's a 4-card class, and they get the PDF tutorial. It's one of their perks of being on a team. And this is this month's make and takes, right? All right, so now I've got my lovely pattern paper, and I bring in my trimmer. So I am going to set this down. You know what? I need to be able to see that you guys can see this. Yes, Marilyn, I agree. I love, love, love the font on that. It is so nice. So very nice. All right, let's see if I can. Yes, I can see the top of my trimmer. I just wanted to make sure you guys could see it. Now I'm going to cut off the top of this, and I'm going to cut 2 inches off. Don't stress out on what these measurements are. They can be anything. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on where you want your spacing to fall on your piece. So any measurement works fine. It's really just whatever you want to do. So this is my top piece. I've cut off 2 inches off the top. Now I'm going to slide this over into my trimmer, and I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off one side. Now, you can do it off the left or the right. On the instructions, I'm doing it off this side, and my original, I did it off that side. But on this one, I'm flipping it. I changed it, and we'll look at that in just a minute, okay? So on the bottom half, I want to cut 1.5 inch strip off of the opposite side of what I did on the top, okay? So let's put this out here on my trimmer. So instead of cutting it off this side, I want to cut it off this side. So I'm going to rotate my piece because I like using this other side of my channel if I can when I'm doing skinny measurements, because then the most of my cardstock is right against that nice big channel I have there. All right, so you see right there, we're piecing that back together. Does that make sense? I hope so. Oh, Linda, I'm so glad you found me. Yay. So this is being recorded, so you guys will be able to watch this later if you choose to, okay? And I'll pin it to featured at the top of this group. I'm also going to upload it to YouTube because it's going to disappear out of this group now that Facebook has done what Facebook does, right? All right, so I'm going to adhere these to this layer here. Now, remember I said these were skinny 3 3/4 by 5. I did that because I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of spacing. And if I only did 1/8 difference, you really don't get the spacing on the outer edge and the middle here. Ooh, looks like I left some really good spacing in there. So now I've got a nice wide space in the middle. So you choose to adjust that as need be. Probably should have put that down first. Let's see what I got at the top. Oh yeah, I like that actually. So you can choose if you want your wider spacing, depending on how you cut yours. If you want your wider spacing in the middle or along the outer edge. So you could always slide those around. I'm going to keep it on in the middle actually and have this skinny border on the outer edge. Only because that's what I prefer. You do what makes your heart happy. So I think when I cut this, I cut a wide 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 on my white and a skinny 3 3/4 by 5 on my foil. Just pushing that a little bit. Okay. And of course you can use liquid glue if you prefer. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of liquid glue, although it has a place in my life, right? It sure does. All right, perfect. Oh, Judith, I'm glad you found my channel. Yay. So yeah, so I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook group for my business. And then I do all the online workshops. I'm trying to do these every month. I did really good last year for this last calendar, Stampin' Up! Calendar year, or fiscal year, I guess you could say. I missed 1 month, but I did all the rest. So I've done a full year. So this today makes a full year. I did 10 of the 11, or 11 of the 12 months. I don't even know how many months are in a year. Isn't that terrible? My mind is not working. So this year, maybe I'll do better. Maybe I won't miss that one. But yeah, we're doing it every month. And I love that. It's a good time to just take a break, get together, do a quick crafting session. All right, so I'm popping this up. I'm putting this right on my card front with dimensionals because that's what I want to do. You can do yours flat if you want to. That's your choice, right? All right, so this circle was die cut from the ornament, as I said earlier. We are going to bring in this lovely tree image in our Memento black ink. So of course, if you wanted to bring in another color, you could totally bring in another color with this. You don't have to do this black. Lots of things go with gold. You could put pink, because I think pink is fun as well. You could do green, you could do red. It's entirely up to you, right? You could color some of these ornaments with your Stampin' Blend markers and give them some color if you wanted to. So lots and lots and lots of choices. Oh, Rebecca, I'm so glad you love it. Yay. Good, good, good. Um, I love hanging out with you guys and getting together monthly, right? Why not? Facebook doesn't always make it easy to do, but I like it because then a lot of us can get together easy and then we can interact throughout the week if we want to. You choose to do as much or as little as you want, right? All right, so I'm popping this up as well just because that's what I want to do. Again, you don't have to do that, especially when I do this star and I pop it up too. You guys might be like, what? That's way too much popped up. Maybe, maybe not. I love it. I love it. All right, so I think I'll put my ornament topper on next. Now we do have a couple different ornament type stamp sets that you could use. So I like this one. I chose to stay within the suite, but you could choose one of the others, or if you've got something in your crafty stash already, you could totally use that. So I just popped that up with a little dimensional, and I am going to use a dimensional for this star. I don't think I put mini dimensionals on the supply list, but I'm going to grab one and use a mini for this just because I want it popped up today, right? You don't have to, but I want it. And you know what? I think I'm going to move it down a little bit just so there's a little bit of clearance between my topper and my star. Okay, we are almost done. Can you believe it? So now I'm going to bring in a little bit of this twine. So this twine here comes in gold and black and gold and white, and you can mix and match. So you could use the black trim or the white trim. As you can see from this spool, I've been leaning towards the black trim a little bit more, but I'm going to use the white trim today. So my length, let me tell you what length I used. Let's see, do I say? Do I tell you in the supplies? I don't tell you the measurement. Well, because you can make it any length you want to. You're tying a bow. Typically, for something like this, I would do 9-ish inches. You could do a little bit more or a little bit less. I'm going to leave this on my spool, and I'm just going to tie a little bow here. Okay. And then hold your knot and pull the legs. And then you can tighten it back up. Now, you guys know twine is going to twist on you a little bit. That's okay. Deep breath. Let it happen. I think it adds personality. Maybe this is not the trim for you if you can't stand the twisting of a twine, right? I just, there are days that it works really well for me and there are days that it doesn't, right? And so you just have to adjust. All right, let's get some glue dots or boogers. Yes. Oh, good. You guys are liking this one? I hope so. And it's super fast and easy, right? Like you could do this in any print. So even if this paper doesn't speak to you, do you have other Christmas paper or non-Christmas paper that you would want to recreate this layout? I think so. Cute. All right, let's sprinkle on some stars. I am not a huge fan of loose type sequins, but I'll tell you, I love these. Number one, because there's so many in there, right? So I'm just going to get a pinch of them and I'm going to decorate my tree. So I can use a ton because these are flat, right? So I can put as many on here as I want to. So I'm going to just add some dots of glue. So there's 3. Let's do 4. Let's do 5. Let's do 6. Technically, we should do odd numbers, but this time I'm doing 6. I am all in with it. Yeah. Grab my take your pick. And I'm just going to grab them. Oops, totally missed it. Totally missed the glue. Did you see that? I dropped it next to the glue. Now, a lot of times I will let the glue sit and dry just a smidge before I apply any of my elements when I'm using liquid glue because I don't like glue ooze, right? So if you follow me, you know how I am with that. So I like to let it sit. This Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue dries tacky. So it will always be sticky. So it is not good for some techniques, but it is great for other things. And for little things like this, I think it works wonderful. These stars are also awesome if you're going to do shaker type cards. Now, I'm not doing a shaker card today, but these would work great to do a shaker card, I think. Fabulous. All right, so I'm going to let those sit for just a bit. Let them stick to that adhesive without that glue ooze too bad, right? Let's close this because if we don't, this bee will knock them off my table and I will have stars forever on the floor. So, yep, so that is the project, first project. We've got that one done. Let me show you the alternate that I did. And let me bring back in the sketch. You couldn't find your roll of glue dots. That's a bummer. So some of you said you don't do Christmas, which I totally get. Not everybody does Christmas, right? And so for those of you that don't do Christmas, whoops, or just want to see something different, and see that one wasn't dry when I finished, and I've moved the star. That's all right. We'll deal with that later. But so I took the do I have it? I had it. What did I do with it? There it is. I took the Sunrise Sailing Stamp and Die bundle and I decided I'm going to make a set of masculine cards, right? So these are non-Christmas cards. So I took the same supplies, right? I took the same pattern paper. I used one of the back sides that didn't have ornaments on it. And how fun is this? Now, here again, you could add more color. Maybe you wanted to add some blues to this, right? You could have added some blue squiggles right with your markers or Stampin' Blends. You could have colored this with your brayer and your ink pad to add some color. There's so many different things you could have done or added some layers. I've kept these black, white, and gold just to be similar to what I did. But I wanted to show you, good grief, Wendy, that you can take these same supplies and it doesn't have to be for Christmas, okay? Now, this is my least favorite of the ones I did. Because I wished I would have done a different color than white behind this white paper. I wished I would have done maybe black, maybe swapped the black and white and done black there and white for the card base. But I did these in a quick moment, right? All right, so let's move on to number 2. So I do have an alternate for each and every one of them. Uh, yeah, I prefer the rolls of glue dots. Yeah, so Stampin' Up sells this in a roll. So these are our mini glue dots. The ones on the sheets are the ones that come in Paper Pumpkin or some of our other kits. Those I throw away. I know that some people love them. Oh, you're not supposed to see the alternate first? Darn, I gave it away. Maybe you didn't remember. Maybe you weren't paying attention and you didn't see it. All right, so this is sketch number 2. So you can see I've taken some liberties. This has little pieces. I've done it as strips, right? This has an element here. Again, don't take these so literally. It doesn't have to be a circle, right? I did put a circle, but I also put a tree right behind it and added some other little things to zhuzh it up a little bit, right? So I love that. Love that we can change this up. Now this one I made a gift card holder, right? So I made a pocket on the inside. Cool? All right, let me find my stuff for this one and we'll go through our measurements. I'll tell you all my pieces. Okay, let's see. I think I got them all here. Let me switch my tutorial to my cheater page here so I tell you the correct measurements. Yes, Laura. Okay, sorry, I was reading, guys. Laura, you're correct. If you keep the squares of pattern paper the same measurements top to bottom, it does look like a wrapped gift with ribbon. 100%. And that is what's great about this is that you can change it up to be what you want it to be. So very good idea. All right, so here is a piece of thick basic white. This is 4¼ by 5½. So I'm doing a flat back card. And then the part that's going to fold is this here. And this is 3 3/4 by 10 inches. So folded, it's 3 3/4 by 5. Make sense? Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. Yeah, fold that in half there. Okay, so that's going to layer on there. I have a die cut gold tree where you will have a gold piece that you can do with what you want. I have a circle, second smallest circle that I die cut from my favorite stylish shapes dies. If you don't have these, really, is there anybody out there that doesn't have these yet? I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. I highly recommend them if you don't have them. I've got a piece of white that is, what does it measure, Wendy? It is 3.5 by 6, and I'm going to score this at 4 3/4. So let me bring in my Simply Scored. I didn't pre-score this piece, but let's do it. 4 3/4. Just going to lay this in here at 4 3/4. So you can make any card a gift card by just adding a little length to your inner layer and making a pocket, which is what we're going to do today. Okay, so that's what I've done here. All right. And then I've got some scrap strips of designer series paper. So I have got some of this print and this lovely fa la 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 print, which I love. Nice. It looks like that's what I've pulled. Let's see if I can make it all work with what I've pulled. Oh, now I see another one. Nope, that's for another card. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to start with the inside, and this way I can clip if I need to. So I'm going to put down my little strips right across the bottom here. So these are 1/2 inch strips. Some of them I cut to length. So this is, like I said, this is 3 1/4. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. No, 3 1/2 is that length there. So I'm going to put a strip at the top. This is not the top. This is the bottom. Good grief, Wendy. And I think I'm going to put this one at the top. So let's put a little adhesive right across there. Put my stripe at the top. I don't know if that's the way I did the original. We'll look and see if I remember. Okay, now I'm going to clip this one off since it's long. I just grabbed some scraps, right, of what I had. And then let's grab this one here and put that just right across the middle. So I'm just going to run some adhesive right across the middle. So it's not as wide as the paper I'm using. And you can use any of the prints you want, right? If that's too busy, I wanted to bring all 3 strips to the inside, but if that's too busy for you, don't do it. Now I'm going to not have what I need to put that across my card base. All right. So now I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue right on the sides here. You could use tear and tape because you do have the space if you want to use something other than liquid glue. I'm going to use liquid glue. So let me grab a gift card. So you can see a gift card will fit in this direction. So you could have used tear and tape or another strong adhesive if you like it. I'm going to let that sit for just a bit. Okay. Let's work on our front here. Now, I don't have enough of the fa la 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 to make it all the way across my layer. What should I do? Should I skip it? Do I go find more paper? I don't know. We got to figure out what we want to do. You guys tell me. Okay, I'm going to put the stripe one down since that's what I have. We'll go stripe first. Now, your placement of these strips, don't overthink this, okay? There's not a right way to do this, right? You can go this way, you can go this way. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to pick a spot and I'm going to go at an angle. I just want to make sure that I'm all the way to the edge on that piece there, okay? Then I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to do that as well. Now, should we go get another piece of the fa la 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 la? Should I run across the room? Yes, I could put my focal point over the gap. Should we try that? We could see how disastrous it is. Let's try it. Let's see, because I could slide this over and have it, it would only show on one side. It wouldn't show over here because I don't have enough. Unless I went, wait, no, I still wouldn't have enough. It's too short of a piece. It is what it is. I'm not extremely worried about it. We could just do 2. and not do 3. But 3 is more like the sketch. Yeah, put the empty spot. You guys want me to try it? You want to leave this empty on the one side? It might be a little strange. What do we think? I'm going to give you guys a minute to answer, and I'm going to run across the room because I must have dropped the piece because I had it. Or, you know what? I might have used it for something else because I do stuff like that. I do crazy things that get me in trouble all the time. Let's see. I'm not seeing a fa la 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 la, but I do see a longer piece of another print, which won't match the inside, but I think that's okay. I could switch to this print. This one's long enough. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna switch to this print. What do you guys think? You go with it? Yes, I totally could make this work. I could put this maybe here, right? And put my tree over here and put this circle here and cover it, and we would never know. I could totally do that and swap it and do it that way. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and make do of what we've got. I'm going to do it. We'll just make it work. See, this is the beauty of paper crafting. There is not an exact way to do it. You can make it your own however you need to. And I love it. No one knows what we were supposed to have done. Maybe people will think, if they even notice, that we did that intentionally, right? And if anybody asks, yeah, of course I did that intentionally. That's my paper saving hack, right? You don't need to waste all that paper. Although we end up having lots of little skinny strips of paper, so it still works. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fold this inside pocket in. I think I'm pretty good from a glue ooze perspective. So we're going to tack that down. Once that's dry, I like to run my bone folder inside the pocket. It's a little soon to do that, but once that's dry, I like to do that just to kind of help lift that layer a little bit. It makes it easier to get your gift card in and out, mostly in versus out. All right, so I'm going to put this in here, just centering it best I can. Cute. And let's put this on the front of our card base. Now you could add more layers if you wanted to, entirely up to you. You could pop this up if you want to. I'm keeping this one a little flatter than the last one. So we're going to go straight down. Nice. Okay. Now let's put our die cut tree on, and we're going to strategically place that. I'm going to use liquid glue. We're going to do this guy flat. Aren't these fast and easy? And I love that we can use some of our scraps. We use some big pieces. So a wide variety of things. Oh yeah, I was going to go over this way. I'm going to go down a little bit more. So this would have been, if I had realized this in the beginning, I might have gone the other direction in my striping, but this is fine. It'll all be good. All right, let's stamp our Be Jolly. Yeah, putting the greeting in the blank space, 100%. Let's do it. You think it's too busy? Okay. So you could not do 3 different prints. You could do all the same prints if that's not your style. Because these prints are pretty bold. I think they're exciting. Okay, so on the original, I did the black and gold twine. I'm going to switch this one to do this white twine. And did I give you a measurement on this one? I want to say this one I had 14 inches, but I'm not saying the measurement in the tutorial. My apologies. I'm going to say 14 inches on this one. Again, you could just do whatever makes you happy, right? So let's see. I'm going to wrap this around my fingers a couple times. And then if I need to slide to adjust, I can get my fingers out of there. So that's what I'm doing. You can pull the ends if you need to. I am going to add some Stampin' Steel to the back of my sentiment. And I'm going to just lay this behind it. Okay, so once you've got that stuck, you can mess with it, right? You can move things around if you want to move things around. I'm pretty happy with that. I try not to overthink that, right? So then this is going to put down right there. So since we were down more on the black, I thought this might be a better color twine, but either one works. They're both very, very pretty. So it's just versatile. however you need it to be. Okay, right. And we will add this. I'm going to come up a little so it doesn't look like I intentionally am trying to cover up some. Nice. Cute, cute, cute. I do love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, let's add some bling to this one as well. What I do with those gold stars. There they are. You guys like it? Yeah? Good, good, good. See, we make it work, even though I forgot the strip. All right, so same as we did before. I'm going to sprinkle on some little stars here. So I'm just going to put some little dots of my liquid glue. And let's do that one here and here. I might be changing it a little bit. Might be the same. And take your pick. And let's steal a couple of these stars. Let's start with the big one there. See if I can get another big one. Let's do a big one here. Kind of a little one. Yeah, I would definitely let my glue sit longer. I would probably go to the next card and then come back to this if I was doing it just on my own and not with you guys watching me. I'm trying to be careful of your time. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? The reason I forgot to do it is because you can't even see it on the card. In your instructions, for those that get the PDF, you're going to see that it tells you to stamp the tree. This is the tree. And I stamped the tree black on black on this card here, but you can't even see it. Like the ink is absorbed into the cardstock and you can't even, like, it's so subtle. I might be able to turn it a certain way. And there I can see a shadow of those trees. I did stamp the trees in the background up here, black on black. If I wanted to step this up and add that, I probably would do it and emboss it with either black embossing powder so you can see the black, or even a clear embossing powder to add that element. But I didn't want to do any embossing on these because I wanted the paper to be the star of the show and not take away from it with any embossing powder. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Now I know I had already brought in the alternate, but here is the alternate that I made. So there is the originals. Let's do originals. And then today's was a little crazy. And then here is my sketch again. So again, I pulled in some different prints, right? I took off the fa la 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 because that doesn't make sense, um, you know, to do that. So stamping in Versamark, you could try that, but Versamark on black doesn't work well. I find that Versamark on Daffodil Delight, for whatever reason, and Versamark on black do not show up very well once they dry. Now, your experience might be different. We all have different things that happen, right? Denise, I would use either clear embossing powder or black embossing powder. You just want that shiny element to it. You could do gold, but I think it would be too much, right? But you do what makes you happy. But so here we go. We have a masculine sailboat version and a Christmas version just by switching out what stamp sets we're using, stamps and dies we're using. Okay? Hopefully you guys like that. All right. Last but not least, this is our next sketch, which is this one here. Now, I've obviously taken some liberties here, right? So I have added some extra layers. I've stepped this one up. Instead of one banner, I've got 3 different strips going. I still have a focal point under there. I've added some ribbon, but hopefully you can see where this was, that this was my inspiration for this one, okay? So let's get started with this one. Let's see. Gold paper included. No, the gold paper is gold foil. So any of the solid gold that I'm using is your gold foil paper. So that's a separate item. All right. So we have got, again, a 4¼ by 11 basic black card base. Let me get my notes so I'm in the right place. Okay. And then we've got some layers here. I've got a 4 by 5¼ piece of the designer series paper. This is a 4 by 3/4 piece of the designer series paper we're going to use on the inside. 4 by 5 1/4 white. Again, that's going to go on the inside of our card base. This is the outside of our card base. Okay. And then I've got a piece of basic white. I got to look at my measurements because I need a cheat. This is 3 by 4 1/4. And then I've got a 2 3/4 by 4 that I've embossed with a Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. This is one of my favorites because you can use it this way, but you can also turn it and do a diagonal plaid, right? So you can change your orientation of your plaid with these nice big folders. I love these. Yeah, so all good stuff, right? And then I've got a little 1/2 inch strip of gold foil. Let's see, this is in my measurements. It is 3 inches. So yeah, Paula, this paper, the gold foil, is sold separately, okay? It's not in the designer paper pack. Then I've got a piece that is, let me make sure I check my measurements, 3 1/4 by 3/4. I've got a 1/2 inch strip of white. This is way longer than what it says in the tutorial, but it will be just fine. And then I've cut a cluster of trees right out of the designer series paper. So I'm not using one of the elements that's in the stamp set. Here I'm letting the designer paper be my star of my show, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on these. And we'll do the inside first. I think I left the stamping blank. I did. I left the stamping blank, but you could add Merry Christmas on every single one of these if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you on what you want to do with that, right? All right, so let's add our designer series paper to the bottom here. Oh, I like that tree on the back too, right? Those are fun. We're going stars today. Now you can butt it all the way to the bottom, or you can leave a little white space, entirely up to you. Let's fold our card base in half, get our bone folder, get a nice good crease. Yay. And then we'll add this to the inside. So again, if you wanted to make this a gift card holder, you can change this up. An easy way to do this, if you didn't want to make your white piece bigger, would be to add a little wider piece of designer paper and only adhere it on 3 sides. You could do it with something this thin, but it doesn't hold as well. So up to you, really. All right, let's add this designer paper. Oh, I love those trees. Those would be fun to color these trees different colors and add those. You wouldn't want to use too dark of a green though, because, and maybe you don't use green. Maybe that's where pink comes in. That would be fun because you wouldn't want it to just disappear and blend into the card base, right? All right, so I'm going to adhere this larger of my 2 white pieces down. I'm gonna do this flat and I'm centering left, right, top, bottom. All right, now this piece that I've embossed, I'm gonna pop this up. Okay, let's put that on some dimensionals. Again, if you want yours flat, do yours flat. Entirely up to you. I'm excited. I hope you guys make these projects and using what you have in your crafty stash. They're fun, I think. All right. Got that going on there. Perfect. All right. So then I'm going to add this strip right there. I'm going to go flat with this. And I'm just centering it. And I like to cross my layers. So this is a little longer than all my white layers, if you can see that. But I like that. I like it crossing the layers. I think that's a fun way to play with it. I'm going to angle clip this gold foil. Okay. And then I'm going to adhere that down as well. And I want slight overlap. And I think I want that just a smidge shorter there, because I want to see my fa la 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 la. Okay. Now, our sentiment we'll do last. We're going to mask that one. And we need to fussy cut out our tree. So I am just going to cut with the depth of my scissor. And I'm going to try to move my designer paper versus my scissor, because I get a better cut, right? Now, if fussy cutting is not your thing, which it is not mine, but I was like, oh, I can't let these trees go to waste. This is a sheet of paper that you just got to fussy cut, I think. Now, if you have a scan and cut type machine, which I do, I just didn't cheat and do it for this. But if you have a scan and cut type machine, you can scan this and have it cut it out. I think it would do well with these because of the dark contrast. I think you'd get a really nice set of trees out of it. And there's lots of different ones to choose from. Now, in the pattern paper, you know how some of them are on the edge and you can't really use them because they're on the edge? You could. You could totally take some that are cut off, partial ones, and use them on the inside. It's a great way to do that. You could also layer them, right? So you could put another cluster behind this, and that would give you, you know, a way to use some of those partial trees and not waste those sheets. Or you can use the polka dot side of the paper too. All right, so I'm gonna pop this up with some dimensionals because that's what I want to do. Again, if you don't want to pop it, don't pop it, right? And I'm gonna do this and that. Okay, I'm gonna be excessive. That's a lot of dimensionals for that little bitty thing, but I'm going all in, right? Designer paper's a little flimsier, right? It's lighter weight, so we're allowed to put extra on there, I think. Now, again, I like things crossing over the layer, so I'm going to have it hang off the edge a little bit. I just need to stay inside this edge, and I'm going to cover the end of my little bit of foil there, okay? Now, if it bothers you that this is hanging off and it's mine's kind of curving down because of where I put my dimensional, you could always add a second dimensional and double stack that, okay? Nice. It's so pretty, I love it. All right, let's work on our sentiment next. So I've got a really long strip here, more than I need. And I've got this long sentiment, wishing you peace and joy. And you can see I've whack-a-mole out of this. This stamp set, my red rubber stamps, I've had more and more trouble with as I've aged. They're harder for me to use than they used to be. So I am not disappointed that Stampin' Up! Is moving away from red rubber. If you didn't know that, they're moving away from red rubber because of supplies. We're having a hard time getting the supplies. And they've really perfected the photopolymer stamps. So hopefully you're not too distraught about that. But yeah, so those will be going away. This was our last catalog with red rubber. They will phase out. So I want to use peace and joy only. So I'm bringing in some painter's tape. It doesn't matter. You can use a sticky note. You can use masking paper. But I am just going to cover the word that I don't want to have happen. I'm not going to ink this up either, but this will keep me from going over too far, right? I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I can ink it up without that, and sometimes I need it. Now, I like to double check because sometimes I don't keep my scrub as clean as I like, and I get like halo effect. So I don't have any halo, so this is really clean, which is good. So I don't have any risk right now of inking this up. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up the peace and joy. I got to do it this way because I got to be able to see. And it's okay that I'm getting black ink on my painter's tape. That's why it's there. Keep me from inking up letters I don't want, right? And then don't forget, super important, remove the tape. Because otherwise, if you stamp this, you're going to get that blob of black ink, right? We don't want that blob of black ink. So let's do this. Hopefully I'm somewhat straight as we go. We will see. Yay! I love it when it works. Yeah, you could totally switch that up. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to angle cut this as well. You can leave it as long or short as you like. I'm just going to shorten that a little bit. And if this is too wide for you, if you want to narrow this up a little bit, you totally could narrow that up a little bit. So I'm going to pop this up, but before I do, I want to put some twine on here. So let's see. I think the black one is the right one for this one. Yeah, I'm going to use the black one on this one. And since I didn't put measurements, I'm going to just say I used 10 inches. Okay, let's put a little adhesive on the back of this. So are you guys liking these? Will you be creating them? I hope so. So I'm gonna do my faux bow. You could tie a real bow, but you really don't need to. And this is a little thicker baker's twine. So I'm going to lay this where I want it. 10 inches was a little longer than probably need be, but still nice. I'm gonna leave it on there. All right, so let me smoosh that into my glue. Get things to stay where I want them to stay, right? And let's add some dimensionals. Now, I want to be careful how far I go this way with my dimensional because I'm going to overlap those trees that are popped, and I don't want it to interfere. So I'm going to overlap a little, but not the whole thing, right? And so let's see, what do we think? I think that looks pretty good. Happy with how that turned out. Good, good. I'm so glad this is giving you some inspiration, Karen. All right, let me do a pinch. Let's add our lovely stars. If I can get them off my fingers. It's the same thing. I'm just going to add some dots of glue to put these bad boys down. Put a couple up there. Let's put a few down here. Okay. And our take your pick is going to help us grab these. Thank goodness. And let's see if we can get this baby one. Little bitty one. Put that down in my glue a little bit there. Let's grab another. And let's see if we can grab that one. And we need one more. Let's see. Let's grab that one. Don't overthink it. I'm not grabbing these ones that are open, because boy, would those be hard to glue down. I'm going to save all those for shaker cards. So if I get through this whole container and there's only those left, I'll have really cool things for shaker cards. Although there's look how much is in here. And I have made so many cards with these already. So you get a lot for your buck. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you love it? Let me bring in the sketch, bring back in the sketch and show you the alternate. Okay, here's our sketch. And then here's our alternate. So again, I used the same products. I switched my fa la 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 to the back side of a paper in this paper pack. So I've got this little plaid, and I did my embossing on the diagonal versus straight up and down. And my sentiment's a little bit bigger, but really it's the same card, right? What do you guys think? Happy with it? You like it? All right, so let me lay them all back out. There's that one. Here is our second one we did. And let's see if I can get our first one back in. And then I'll switch the camera over and we'll say goodbye. Nice? It's a good set of projects, I think. Lots of fun. Lots of good stuff there. Yay, yay. I'm so glad that you guys love them. I can't wait to see what you do with them. Let me switch the camera back over if I can figure out how to do it. Yay. Yay! So I went a little long today, right? A little longer than we have in the past. I'm seeing, oh no, it's 12:30. I thought it said 12:50. And I was being a bad person, right? Taking up all of your time. I appreciate you guys taking about an hour with me, hanging out with me. Yes. Um, all good stuff. All right. So don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions. I'm here to support you guys. Again, the PDF will be available to those that take advantage of the order special, and the cut kits as well. Yes, I will send those out to those that meet that criteria for the order special. I think that's it. But if you've got questions, let me know. Thank you guys for being part of my crafting community. I love it. Keep creating, sharing, and inspiring each other. And I cannot wait to see what you guys do with these sketches and these layouts. Okay. Thank you. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.